While I've seen a lot of Assassin's Creed gameplay in the past, watching my brothers play through the series, I had never played one of the games from the franchise myself. And more or less because Assassin's Creed Unity was $5 in the bargain bin, I decided to give it a go in 2021. After all, I remember the catastrophic launch of this game, with huge game-breaking bugs and visual glitches that simply couldn't go unnoticed. Though I had heard that there was a lot of work done on the game over the years to make it playable and actually fun. So I was quite excited to finally play it, and for it to be my first Assassin's Creed no less. Set during the French Revolution, one of the most dynamic and violent times in human history, there's bound to be a great story full of political intrigue and class conflict. Right? And I'm sure the gameplay is refined and heavily optimized to create a smooth system for online co-op, the primary focus of the game. Right? No. Unity is at best a mixed bag, and at most critical, a huge mess of poor programming and boring storytelling. Let's talk about it for a sec. So, to begin, those apparent optimization patches that made the game run better and not look like a digital hellscape, in my opinion, didn't exactly do the full job. The game is still hilariously buggy and poorly optimized. Environments can look absolutely stunning sometimes, but the frame rate drops that often interrupt the scene really are distracting. That, or there'll be a variety of technical bugs that mess with character placement, movement, or any number of other elements. It's really sad, because like many Ubisoft-developed environments, it's an impressive recreation of revolutionary Paris, with plenty of real-world landmarks to climb and explore. The interiors to many castles and manors still feel gorgeous and cutting edge, and many scenes in the exterior areas are wonderfully made, faithful recreations of many historical scenes.
Bring forth the condemned!
However, the overall continuously poor sense of seamlessness is very apparent.
Hey, handsome. Need to stretch your legs?
Trying to enjoy a nice vista or scene for too long will inevitably result in some kind of ugly side effect from the poor optimization. The controls, while similar to previous Assassin's Creed games, are really more like tests of patience than they are fun to use. The assassin for this game, Arno, does not exactly feel natural or organic to the world around him, with at times extremely poor climbing and bad input control. I heard that the development team tried to change some of the core aspects of movement to try and optimize and streamline things for the online side of the game, but honestly it feels like optimization was the exact opposite of what was programmed. Despite there being times when pressing L2 is supposed to allow you to automatically enter an open window, sometimes it just won't register, at all. Not to mention so many situations where aiming and quick moving is required are oftentimes the exact moments when Arno will randomly climb around and hold his awkward positions on random objects. It almost feels like an artificial way of making the game harder at some points, where Arno just simply refuses to climb at a normal speed suddenly, just so he can get shot by an enemy. How convenient. It's just not fun at all, and you can really tell that the team was more interested in making the game feel more like a freemium online experience than a truly great Assassin's Creed game. This sense of poor design and forethought is also seen through how awfully boring the story and characters are.
Certainly aren't sitting idle.
We might have learned more had we not allowed Sivert to escape.
Sivert was there?
I know your heart is set on keeping the peace, but bringing Monsieur de la Serre's killer to justice would count for something, wouldn't it?
I just could not care for any of these boring characters that really show barely any emotion or purpose. They all just feel like tools for exposition rather than people.
It's none of your concern. Last night, the Paris Commune declared itself an open insurrection against the king. As we speak, 20,000 armed revolutionaries are laying siege to the Tuileries. Even the National Guard are on the brink. Some of them have thrown in with the revolutionaries. France is splitting at the seams.
There are some characters they introduced that do have some personality, but they're barely used at all in the main plot.
For heaven's sake, take that blindfold off. Ridiculous.
For the most part, we're stuck with Arno and Elise. And yes, Elise is alright, but she's barely given much to work with for us players to really like her, and... Oh man, Arno.
Didn't do enough damage last night.
No, I just... My father's watch. Have you seen it?
I see nothing. Might want to ask one of the 4 men you picked a fight with. Idiot.
Arno is so incredibly boring it hurts. Compared to previous assassins like Ezio, Arno is a complete bore. Even comparing him to less engaging protagonists like Altair doesn't do Arno favors.
Maybe one of the staff will recognize it.
Even with an initial mystery of Arno's father dying suddenly at a lavish party, Arno just doesn't have much in the way of an interesting motivation or sense of personality.
For Monsieur de la Serre, it's very important.
Oh, calm yourself, Perrault. That letter won't reach Monsieur de la Serre any faster if you drop dead of exhaustion. Give it here. I'll catch
You
him.
must receive it today. It's very...
Very important. Yes, I heard you the first time. I'll see that he gets it.
It's a damn shame too, because there's plenty of great aspects of French culture to embody characters, but it seems like Ubisoft really didn't attempt it here. Not like how they did it with the Italian Renaissance culture being embodied through the vibrant Ezio. All of this to say that it's not just the characters, but the overall story that's simply dreadfully drab. Especially playing offline where one can't see much of the assassin's characters that they made for the game be active, it simply feels like one of those go out, do the thing, report back to the council, get new directions, rinse and repeat styled games.
Assassin, this council charges you to go to La Cour des Miracles. Find there the Templar agent Le Roi des Dunes. Learn his secrets and bring him peace.
And that's only interesting for so long, especially when the gameplay can just be so problematic. You do kind of get to see Napoleon at one point. That's kind of cool, I guess. So, to say the least, Assassin's Creed Unity is still very much a bad game in my opinion, or at the very least mediocre. It's not so terrible that it's unplayable. After all, I managed to force myself to beat the main campaign at least, but it's constantly pushing on the edge of being absolutely infuriating. Even the last boss is just lame. Everything just lame. For my first Assassin's Creed, this is a very, very low bar for quality, especially seeing the huge amount of missed opportunities and potential with the premise of the game. Like, it's the French Revolution. How could you mess this up? The French Revolution deserved much, much better than what it got with Assassin's Creed Unity. And you know what? I deserved better too. What the heck, Ubisoft? This was... ugh.